Good morning, everyone. This is Miss T. I just decided that when stuff pops up in my head, or when I feel like there's stuff that I should be talking about, or trying to let everyone aware of things, I'm just going to come on here and talk. So yeah, I said I wasn't going to do any more uploads. Well, I didn't say I wasn't going to do any more uploads. I got to my 100th upload, and that was going to be the end of my everyday upload. But if anyone knows me, knows that I can't stop spreading God's word, or trying to uplift someone, or trying to give hope where people think that they're hopeless or whatever. So I'll just say whenever I decide to come on, I'll just come on. So I hope everyone is doing well, and everyone is studying, reading the word, praying, even if you don't feel like prayer works, or if you're just kind of like, I don't really know if there's a God, but there's something, and maybe you just need to keep your mind open and let the miracles in, because I promise you there is a God. You don't, and you're like, who are you? Why should I take your word? But I promise you that there is a God, and if you just open your mind and your eyes and seek Him, He will show you. This morning, I wanted to talk about what has been bothering me lately, which is a lot of things. My mind is so just overflowing with a lot of just sadness, I guess you can call it that. It's sadness because I know that people are suffering and the world is suffering. It's not sadness because I feel like there's no hope, because I know the truth. I know that there's going to be an end to all the sadness. I just don't like when I hear about something that is harmful or harms someone, that is, especially children, that is very, very, it hurts, it hits me really, really hard. So when I tell things, I don't give names, I don't really give much information about what I'm talking about that's in the news or in a story, because I'm like, go read it for yourself. I'll give you enough information for you to find out yourself. That gets you in a pattern of not listening to what people tell you. You go and find out for yourself. So you can never say, Miss T said, yeah, I said it, but you had to go read it, because I didn't give you any names, dates. I'm not going to do that anymore, because people need to get into the habit of looking up things and finding things out for themselves, so that they can have a personal relationship with the Lord, so they can understand what the Lord is trying to tell them. They can get an understanding of the Bible, or scriptures, whatever. But I remember a story, it was a long time ago, about, I don't even think it was in America, in the United States. I believe it was in another country. I don't know why I want to say, I'm not going to even say, it was in another country. But the story was, there was a 2-year-old little boy. I guess he was at the mall or it could have been the mall, train station, I don't remember, with his mother, and somehow they got separated. So this little boy was walking by himself, and two 10-year-old boys came along, and they lured him to go with them. And he followed them. He's a kid. These are kids. Back then, kids are innocent, especially little kids. They see a kid, they think they're going to go play, or we taught our kids, or we teach our kids to don't talk to strangers. The boogeyman is a man. The boogeyman is the devil, so he can use anyone. And I say boogeyman, there is no such thing as boogeyman, but I'm just saying it's the devil, so he can use anyone. Kids, animals, anything can be used to commit sin, a crime, in anyone's life. So innocence doesn't even exist anymore, and that's sad. We have to protect the kids to keep their innocence, and in order to do that, you have to be in every aspect of their life. You have to control everything from what they're watching, looking at on social media and TV and just everywhere. You have to make sure that the person you're allowing them to be around, or daycare, whatever, you have to make sure that you know what's going on, because the day of innocence is gone. I don't know if there really was, kids aren't innocent anymore. And when I tell you this last story, you'll know why I'm saying that. So they led him to a railroad track, and what they did was they unalived him by using sticks and rocks and different things. But they did this and left him on the railroad tracks. Now, when they found this little boy, of course, the mother was, discovered her son was missing, and so, they were put out whatever to come to look for this little boy. And then when they found him, and they found that he was unalived, of course, now they're determined to find out who did this. What adult, what monster did this to this little baby? And this story made national news, because when they found out, what they did was they went back and they looked at all the cameras, and they seen these two little boys luring that little boy out of where he was. And they were just little kids, like frail. They didn't even look like they were 10. They could have been 8, but I think they were 10. But it was just that everyone was looking for the boogeyman monster, the man who, or the woman who. I don't even think they thought it was a woman. They were looking for the man who did this to this child. And when they found out it was two kids, it was just unbelievable. And it hit national news, and people were like, what in the world? Who raised these kids, and why would they do such a thing? And since then there's been a story here and there, not really any people don't probably remember a lot, because it's very rare that they find out that the unaliving of a child was done by another child. Here lately, you don't ever know who the perpetrator is. You can't trust anyone. if you don't put the armor of God on and you don't bless your children, you don't teach your children about God, you don't teach them about prayer, you don't teach them about and basic things of being aware of your surroundings and not still not talking to strangers. I don't care if you're a teenager. Things will like this will happen. The story that got me to upset me the most, my soul is just on fire. I can't believe this. A young lady took her 5-year-old daughter, and I'm sure some people heard about it. She was autistic. Now I don't, when people, like I said, these labels, that's just what they labeled her. And she dropped her off at a family member's house to be babysat, while she did whatever she had to do. And the little girl went outside, and she seen kids, and of course kids see kids and they think it's time to play. Of course, they took her by her hand and was, she thought they were going to have fun or whatever, and they led her to this field. Now the ages of the children, the oldest one was 10, so I guess it went 10, 9, 8. These were the kids. She was 5. I don't think I can tell everything that they did to her, because I would have to, you can imagine, she was SA'd. They strangled her until she was unconscious. They beat her. I don't know how, they ripped her hair out of her scalp. They took objects, dirt, sticks, and put them in places. Now, first of all, my thought was, what anger, what child would say, let's do this? Did they see her out in the yard and then they decided this is the plan that they're going to do? Did someone, one of the kids say, I just don't understand how these things come up amongst children. And then the things that they did, is this something that happened to them? Is this just watching social media? Where would they get such evilness as an 8-year-old? Now, I kind of believe the 8-year-old, I could be wrong, because it could have been ringleader, but I kind of believe the 8-year-old probably went along and participated because because the oldest one it was one girl and 2 boys, and went along with it because he didn't want to, become the next, that he didn't want them to turn on him. That's what I believe. That I could be totally wrong. He could have been the one that set the whole thing in motion. Now the story that I told before that took national news, about the little boy. This story got no airtime whatsoever. How they found the little girl. One of the kids went home. I don't know if she went home or he went home and told his mother what happened out of fear. Like, how a child really, I can't believe all 3 of them had this kind of mind. All 3 of them. I don't believe that. I believe that the evilness could have been in one and just used the other 2 to help. Unless we're just in the day and age where evil has taken over. The devil is just in everyone, everything, every place. Well, he is, but I just know that there's people that don't, these things wouldn't even cross their mind as an adult, let alone children. So this child went home and told their mother. I don't know what made them tell. Maybe it was because they were scared, their conscience got to, or whatever. But thank God that this child told, and so they were able to find the little girl. When they contacted the mother, she got there just in time to see her daughter. Well, the ambulance was taking her away. Did I say ambulance or did I say ambulance? Was taking her away, and this woman said she did not even recognize her daughter. She didn't even look like her child. So when they went to the, like, this got no airtime. No, I don't even know if it went to their home news. I don't even know if they reported it. It took for this mother to put this out there everywhere she could, social media, everywhere, for people to, because the police said because of their age, they couldn't do anything. They weren't going to do anything. For one thing, they thought that she had been unalived, that they unalived her. That's what they thought. That's what they were trying to do. By the grace of God, that didn't happen. But the police said they couldn't do anything because they were too young. I understand that they were young, but for you to say you couldn't do anything is an absolute atrocity, a lie, the worst. I can't even. Yes, you can do something. So you mean to tell me that you can't do anything? These kids get to go free to do it to another child because they now know they don't have any consequences because of their age, and then, or maybe they don't do it again and they grow up and then they become the worst serial killer in history. So it took for her to, and her family, to get the word out, to notify. She even showed pictures. She said, she didn't show her baby's face, but she showed her injuries and what happened to her, and told the story of how her daughter was before this happened. Bubbly. She used to just go and hug and kiss, and now she's scared, of course, to even, she's just scared every day, all day. There's no child left in her, no innocence left in her. They took that away. And yes, you might say, well, they were kids, maybe this happened to them, they were just acting out. And it could have, and I hope that if it did, that the people involved in their whatever, if anything happened to them, are also charged with something. Because people, men, women nowadays, abuse children, SA children, and just think that's normal. Just make sure that they don't tell anyone. You're not really hurting them. They're just, they put in they'll justify anything for what they're doing. I've heard so many stories coming out. Social media, like I said, can be a bad thing, but it also can be informational thing, to let you know that this evil, this is out there, and there's nothing new under the sun, and people have a reprobate mind, so whatever evil they think of, they'll do, and spare no one. not a child, not a old person, not a handicapped person. No one is off limits. The devil gets in your mind. He tells you all kinds of stuff. Like, it's almost like he's telling you have the right. This is your right to do. You're practicing what you believe in. It's a sick world, and sick people live in it, and evil people live in it, and we all are intertwined, and some people can escape the evil by, well, the only way I escape it is by serving the Lord, keeping the Lord in my life. Other people can escape it because of where they have money. They can go and buy their own island if they want, but also some buy their own island for such things that I'm speaking of. But until God returns, we're going to hear these stories. They're going to be gruesome, and they're going to get worse. Some people obviously are immune to these things. They don't get shocked anymore. Because when I heard this, I was like, what in the who how are kids being raised? How are they, what are parents not doing to ensure that at least their child is healthy in the mind and, body and their mind? I don't think that I could be wrong, more information should be coming out. I don't think this was the first time that these kids did this. I don't know if it was just maybe it might have been the first time for a couple of them, but I think the ringleader, whoever that might have been, that was not the first time that they did that to a child. Couldn't be. They did things that some adults would do, that I was appalled, that I couldn't fathom, that I couldn't even imagine to think of, and you don't even, as a child, you get spooked by certain things, and you see certain things like wounds, and and then it makes you sick. No, these kids did this to this baby, thought they unalived her, and went back where they came from and started playing like that. Now, mind you, when the person that was babysitting her came out, and she wasn't in the front yard, I don't know how long it took her to do this, she's seen those kids, and she asked them, had they seen her? Have you seen a 5-year-old around? And they said, no, ma'am, we haven't seen anyone. Just like that. Like, kids have no fear. Because she could have been like, well, I asked them, but they were kind of acting. One was kind of acting, couldn't even look at me, or didn't answer, or just kept their head down looking at the ground or anything. These kids convinced her, no, ma'am, we didn't see. Just like, so are they, some kids are just born psychopaths? Is that what we're saying now? It's not good. Even if you don't believe in the war between good and bad and evil, good and evil, the souls of God trying to save the souls, and the devil trying to take the souls, even if you don't believe in that. What is happening in the atmosphere? What is on the earth that is allowing just people to act a way that doing things that you would never thought about before, that you would never think any child would harm anyone, would, maybe they, kids get in fights or whatever on the playground or whatever. But to go as far as to unalive people at the tender age of 8, 10, and 9, there is something evil that is taking over the world, and that his name is Satan. He has soldiers. He has powers, and he is doing whatever it takes to harm you, to take your life, to make sure that you have no life after death. And when I say no life after death, I mean that you do not arise or wake up after Jesus returns and you don't go to heaven. You take your punishment right here on earth with him, because we already know he has no there's nothing he can say. There's not a prayer that he can say. There's not anything that he can do to be forgiven. So his main goal is to get you to get you on his side, and then to make sure that you're going to stay there. He will even unalive you so that you don't have a chance to turn your life around. That you don't have a chance to say, to repent, God, please forgive me, and I want to change my life, I want to serve you. He will do that. I'm going to make sure that you don't have a chance to go to heaven, because I'm going to take you before, especially when he feels that a person, he will mess with people who, of course, who are serving the Lord, because, he already has his soldiers. But he also is going to go after that person that he is on his side, but he can tell that that maybe they're rethinking, they want, like people who, say, I want to change my life. He doesn't want you to do that, to change you for good. And believe you me, Satan has tried to take me out before, and I'm not going into any stories. But when I was doing, when I was having whatever you call living my best life and partying and doing all that stuff, and then one day I just sat down and I said, this is not what I want to be doing. This is not, and so I started searching and Satan tried to take me up out of here, but that's what he does. He's evil. You have to stay away from him. You have to keep God. You can't fight him. You can't win. You have to let God fight your battles. Now, I get up every morning and I pray for the world. I can't just, I do have a list of names that I pray for, but you have to pray for the world, because everyone has a different agenda. You might, your neighbor might be over there plotting to do something to you because they don't like the way you keep your yard. It's just this. There's nothing, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's not far-fetched. People do not have a right mind. what happened to, I'm not, okay, I'm gonna walk away because this is ridiculous. I edged my grass, but I didn't do it exactly the way you edge yours, because you want my yard to look like, manicured like yours, so we can keep the neighborhood, and I understand that, because people like to, when you buy a house, people like to, you're permanent there, and they like to keep their stuff nice, and it always looks nobody wants to, have the whole street nice and then have a house that just is an eyesore. But it's really not any of your business, because it's like, as long as your house is fine, why are you worried about the one up the street? You don't know what's going on in their life. Maybe they can't, things have changed for them. People are so invested in other people's problems and issues in life, because they think that they should be living a different way, and it's really absolutely none of your business to ensure that they're living the way you think they should be living, or they don't affect anything that happens to you as far as nonsense, not anything physical, like harassing the UPS man because he's a certain color and he's carrying boxes, and you want to know where his badge is, because he has the truck, he has the boxes, he's delivering them, he's not taking them away, but you want to see his badge and his name because you believe he's in the area doing something he shouldn't be doing. That is none of your business. And if people start turning people, I'm not saying turn to violence, but, well, I think some people have seen when, you get your camera out and these people are acting crazy and calling names and stuff. A lot of them have been fired because, their company doesn't want them representing them in this kind of way. And, so there are consequences. That's why some people, when you take your camera out, they get upset. You don't have permission to film me. Well, you don't have permission to stop me and ask me what I'm doing here. You see the scenario, just people worry about yourself. What you should be worried about is if your soul is if you're right with the Lord. That's what you should be worried. And you're surely not right with the Lord if you're harassing people because of their skin color. You can't be right with the Lord. I want everyone to please pray for that little girl. She's going to have to go through a lot of counseling and a lot of different things to get herself together. I also pray for those 3 children, because for them to be as young as they are, there's a different kind of, I think Satan has reinvented himself, and he's put something else out there, and it's worse than what has ever been. And nobody's safe. The children are becoming weapons that the devil uses to do all kinds of things, and women, the drugs. I don't even think drugs is a major issue of crime, and let me explain why. Of course there's still going to be crime, but the people that I know that are on drugs, all they're trying to do is get their next whatever. they're not going out to look for people, for kids to unalive just for kids. Now, there are parents who are so neglectful because they're on drugs that they harm their children. Not saying that. I'm talking about a whole different thing. A whole different scenario. This new evil that is upon us. That the devil is making people believe that kids are kids. Remember, we used to say kids, they're just kids. They're just kids. Well, your son is bullying, he's just the kid. Well, they're not just kids anymore. Not at all. They're being used. Their minds are being taken over, and the reason why we're not detecting this is because we still believe they're just kids. We still think kids are innocent and they're just so cute, and and you would have probably thought, and probably those kids, because they were playing in the yard. It wasn't even like they were in the house playing video games. They were actual kids out playing outside like regular kids used to do back in the day. I'm sure that there's no sales for jump ropes. Bike sales are probably have been down. Skateboards and badminton and all that stuff, because they're not needed. Kids don't play outside. They play these games on the video that probably give them ideals and make them wonder how it would be to do those kind of things. And then they look at adults and see them acting, what's the word? Whatever word is worse than dumb, stupid, crazy, out of control, whatever. They see adults doing such things. And so it must not be wrong. Case in point, this, I can kill two birds with one stone when I say social media can be good and bad. So of course, a lot of fights and a lot of unaliving has began with social media. So these two women were dating the same man, of course, that usually is a scenario. And they were arguing back and forth on social media. And so they decided that they were going to meet up and fight. And I still don't understand the concept of let's meet somewhere and fight. Because this is what you're saying. You're saying, the person that I don't like you, I want to do harm to you, I'm going to meet up with you and we're going to fight. But we're going to be honorable and we're just going to fight. You're not going to bring anything. You're not going to bring 500 people with you. Me and you are meeting up. We're making an appointment to go fight. And this is the most ridiculous. They made an appointment to meet up and fight. And as they were approaching, the girl who's coming had her friend with her, some guy, and they were staying on live or whatever, talking and talking about what they're going to do, blah, 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 while they were driving on their way over there. And then while they got out the car and stood in this, mind you, this woman's place of residence. Then you see a bunch of people outside recording these two ladies fighting. it must have been a good tussle. One girl's shirt was ripped off, and hair flying, everything. People just talking about get her and and just all kinds of stuff. And then the next thing you hear are gunshots, and I mean, just you couldn't. Just not. If I would to guess, and just me listening to it, I would have thought there was 900 gunshots. There was no stopping. There wasn't a pause in between. There wasn't just gunshots. So what the end was, the girl who drove over with her friend, she was unalived. What the story says is, woman shot 167 times on Facebook. Now I know she couldn't have been shot 167 times. I believe what they're saying, it was 167 gunshots. She was unalived. Her friend was wounded, and 5 people were arrested. So because you made an appointment to meet up with a girl, girl, because y'all were dating the same man, you're gone. So she could have, she can't date either because she's going to be locked up, but she could see him if she wanted to. You're gone, and your daughter, who's 2 years old, has no mother. And your friend, who really was the cause of this, because evidently he said something on Facebook that caused the gun play, he has to live with the fact that you, as a friend, said they were friends for 17 years, did not say, girl, this is ridiculous. We ain't getting ready to go pull up on nobody and fight over this man. He ain't no good anyway. You didn't, where's the friends that have good sense? We just, I guess, birds of a feather. Because, I have a friend, some of my friends used to tell me, I am so glad that we were friends, because you wouldn't let us, we didn't get to have no foolishness around you. We couldn't do, you was like, I had a friend one time, her husband or whatever was messing around with some woman, and she found out who the woman was, and she had the nerve to ask me, would I ride with her over to this woman's house? I looked at her, I said, I absolutely will not ride with you over to her house, and I suggest that you don't go either. First of all, you don't go to nobody's house intending to harm them. They're going to, you're guaranteed not to make it home. Second of all, if he's messing around with her, you need to be confronting him. You don't know what he's telling her. He could be saying he's single. He could be saying she's just my baby mama. I don't know, but for me, this has nothing to do with me. I'm not messing with him. Neither one of y'all. You my friend, but I love my life. I don't fight over men. I don't go physically. I don't fight over a man. So why would I go with you to perhaps get harmed or unalive? Because if I was to go with you, think of all the scenarios. You pull up, she comes out, and then here comes out her 72 relatives. So now I can't let these people jump you. So you have drawn me into a situation that is a lose-lose. Where are those friends? Oh no, he was out. We're outside, and we're going to go over here and do this and do that. Just told them what they were going to do. Now, if the girl gets off, it would be probably because she was in fear of her life. If you're on somewhere and you're telling them what you're coming to do, wouldn't that be a cause of self-defense? Well, not for 167 gunshots, but come on now. But, you know, somebody can find a loophole. Who knows? There can be a lawyer out there who wants to make a name for themselves and go pro bono. Who knows? This world, so you can't even not expect just anything goes in the world. But I brought that up to say that these kids were watching. This is what you're supposed to do when you have a conflict with someone. You resort to violence. That's what the ending. That's how you solve your problem. Because you sure don't see people on the internet sitting down and showing kids how to talk their issues out before we get to this kind of situation. Girl, I know he's seeing you and he's seeing me too. But what is the issue here? Isn't it him? And we're letting him do this. So why do we have a problem? What we both need to do is walk away from the bum. Aren't you tired of him taking your car to come see me? I'm surely tired of giving him money so that he can go do something with you. Let's be reasonable here. We don't have the issue. He does. And so our problem is solved here. We're both going to walk away. You have a good day. That's resolve that a child needs to see. That children need to see, that teenagers need to see, that there is another way to resolve your issues other than violence. But if the adults are not showing them that, why would they even think about, doing something the right way? Like I said, right is wrong, wrong is right. This was just all twisted. It's all twisted in together. So, like I said, we need to pray for this little girl. Pray for all the children while they're, in school, wherever they are. I just can't understand why there are still little kids being missing when parents know that these things are happening, and you still allow your child to go somewhere alone or to be alone. It's just you're just waiting for something to happen. You're just waiting for someone to do something. Do you not understand this world? There's no one safe. Don't send your 8-year-old daughter to the corner store because it's just 2 houses down to get a can of tomato sauce that you had forgot when you were grocery shopping. I don't care, and it'll help. You forgot the tomato sauce. Get up, go with your child, make it a little outing. Get you some exercise. Go in the store and get your tomato sauce and go back home, and you have your child right there with you. Instead of sending him to that corner store and never seeing him again. Or seeing her or him just not alive. Do we think about these things? You see all people, just like I do. I know everybody sees all these different stories about kids being, whatever, about kids, just kids, people snatching kids, people doing things to kids. I know that you see this, and yet you still don't understand that you have to make sure you, as the parent, are protecting your child at all times. There's nothing should be inconvenienced for you that you have to make a sacrifice or possibly cause harm to your child. We need to start being adults and parents again, and stop being using our kids as child care, errand people, errand boys and girls, and whatever else, putting them in harm's way because you keep bringing in strangers into your home that you have no idea what their past or what their whatever but they're in the home with your most precious prize, your most precious gift, so you can say you got a man. And I'm harder on women. Men are everyone's under the realms of sin. We're all sinners. We all fall short. But I get harder on women because I'm a woman. And I know that just because he walked away, just because he's with a new woman, you're upset. And you want to take it out on the child. That child did not ask to be here. He was doing what he was doing before you laid down with him. And so you're going to have to toughen up and take on the responsibilities of two people, possibly, because of your choice. And that's just that. We can't get on, he's a deadbeat. Well, you knew he was a deadbeat because he has 6 other baby mamas, and your baby is the last one. I just want women, I know, to be always at their to go past their potential, to be the beautiful, strong queens that they were meant to be, that they are, but they have forgotten and have removed the motherly, the womanly spirit inside of them. I know it hurts. You're going to be hurt because, sin hurts. If you're not living in the right way, you're going to be hurt. Things are going to happen out of your control, and you have to, if that's how you're going to remain, if that's the way you're going to live, that's how you have to live. There's a debate, women can't raise men and blah, blah, blah. And shut all that down. There doesn't need to be another round table about who can't do what, because the issue is, this is what's in our face. Women are single parents, and if they have more than one child, possibly they've got a son, and they're going to have to raise him. I know a lady here, she had 7 kids. She was married. She had 7 kids. Her husband passed. Every one of her kids went to college. Except, one of her sons did pass because he had some kind of ailment. And not only did they go to college, they went to college for careers. I do believe she has a child that went to college to become a doctor. And her kids, out of her 7 kids, you don't think at least 4 of them were boys? So we need to stop all the what we can't do because of our situation. With God, you can do anything. There is nothing that you can't do. A woman can raise a man, well, a boy, a child, that's a male. A man can raise his daughter. A grandparent can raise their great-great-grandchild at 75, and don't say that can't happen, because that's what my grandparents did. They took in my cousin. They were 75 years old, and they raised her. I think she started when she became a teenager. She was a little rough. So I believe she left their home when she was 16 years old, but since the time she was 6 months old, because her mother left her and her grandmother didn't want to take care of her, and my grandparents were not going to let her go to a foster care or be put in the system. They were 75. Their life, they raised their kids. It was time for them to relax and they were 75 years old, and they took my 6-month-old cousin and they raised her. So don't say what you cannot do and we're not, why are black men and black women fighting? Oh, because you get on each other's nerves. You do stuff purposely sometimes to make them mad. Women play games too. But men can only do to you, ladies, what you allow them to do. Point blank. What, do they have some kind of spell on you that you can't break, and it's not your fault that you act like this because he's this? I'm not gonna apologize, because you know what? That's what people they only want to hear the good things about themselves. This person, you couldn't possibly be acting this way if someone didn't make you do it, because you're such a nice, sweet person, and you love everybody, and you just wouldn't do these kind of things. It's his fault. Guys, she's just you want to always, she's a bee and a hoe and all this, when she's not doing exactly what you want her to do or tell her to do, because you're over her. You're not an equal to her. She's not your wife, but you get to think you can tell her what to do, and she better do it. You're mad because it's been 5 years, you won't marry her, you've been cheating on her, and she's sick of you, and she is doing something different. I'm not saying she's out messing with some other man. I'm saying she's like, let me better my life. Let me do something else. Let me go to school or do something that's going to make me happy. And so now you feel neglected, and you're going to think she's cheating, because all people who accuse other people of cheating is because that's what they're doing. And then you can't understand why she doesn't want to be around you. People get sick and tired of giving themselves to you, and having the same thing happen over and over again. You can be the best woman that you think you are. You can have dinner ready, laundry done, the house is clean, have good, whatever, because that's the main thing. Be good in bed, do tricks, whatever, and he's still going to cheat on you. So what people have to understand is they have to make their life their life. They can't live their life for someone else. Do you want to have, first of all, you're not going to be, no one can stand up for you on Judgment Day and say, please forgive her, because it was because of me. And do you actually think they would? No. So let's just turn our whole agenda around. Let's just focus on making our lives better. If you're a single parent, making your children's lives better, bringing the Lord into, you don't have to have a man. Bring the Lord into the home. Make sure He's number one. You pray with your kids. You teach your kids how to pray. You teach your kids about the Lord. You show them a different way other than, what they're seeing. You block their social media that they shouldn't be watching. You don't allow them to see what the nasty, degrading movies on TV. You don't allow them to cuss. And it's not cute to have your 2-year-old, 3-year-old on YouTube cussing. That's not cute. And it's mainly black people. I don't think I've seen any white kids. Well, maybe a few, but I'd like to see a little bit more of Linda, listen, Linda. I'd like to see more of that. Was cute. It's not cute that you got your 2-year-old out there twerking and singing a song and then cussing, and everybody around is laughing because it's so cute. We need to change that. While we're still here, we still have to be here until we're not, until He comes. Let's change the dynamics of at least you in your home. You can't worry about the other people in their home, because like God said, you can be in the world, just don't be of the world. So as for you, like the verse in the Bible, and for me and mine, we're serving the Lord. Keep Him in your home, and then you and see how the difference is. How you don't have to work. You just don't. You're free. Your mind is free. You don't have to worry about certain things and what's going to happen and where's my man at? It's 2:00 in the morning and he's not home and why is he talking like this to me? Because you can always tell when he's got a new one, because he's going to come home and from being with her and treat you bad, because he really has a guilty conscience. And then second of all, he doesn't want you to be around him because he's not really a good liar. And sometimes men think women have some kind of sixth sense. They can look at you and tell that you've been doing, so they're trying to stay away from you till it blows over. I bet you, just like I said, if we as the black people in the world would stop buying white-owned business from white-owned businesses and do it from our own. When you mess with people's money, things change. When you mess with people's emotions, things change. Hey, stop asking where he's been. Stop being mad even if you are. When he comes home at 2:00 in the morning, snore. Like, I wouldn't even check it for you. What are you bothering me for? I'm asleep. Start making a different. He's gonna start being at home because he's wondering what's going on over here. I could go on. You know what? I think I'm going to do a weekly. Tell me if you in my chat, if in my comments, if you want me to do a weekly. Black people stop acting ratchet. No, whatever. Give me a title too, so we can talk about some of the ridiculous things that we do that other cultures don't do, and why we do them, and what we can do rather than do that. And even if you don't put anything in the comments, it's my channel. If I decide to do it, I'm just going to do it. But I'm just kidding. I appreciate all you guys who support me. You have really supported me, and I'm truly grateful. And I hope that some of the things that I put out, I had someone, when I said this is my 100th upload and alluded to I wasn't doing it anymore, they came to me and was like, what? Why? You know what? That last upload you did got me to thinking And that really, made me feel like what I'm doing is a good thing. It's some people, because you don't get that a lot. People do make comments, and the one person who's always on my side, that's my bestie. I love her, D Love, and so I know I'm going to get that from her, and I'm also going to get support from Realist, because he always supports me. But for some people just to come up to you randomly, or just to come look for you, I mean, what you're stopping? Why? I need to hear stuff. That made me feel good, and so I started to think, well, maybe I don't have to do it every day, but maybe I should just come on and say some things just as they come up in my mind. So maybe that's what God intends. He lets me know what I'm supposed to be doing at what time I'm supposed to be doing it at. So once again, as I went all over the place, let's keep praying for our children. Family members, you know what's going on in your niece's house and your cousin's house and your child's house and whatever. Don't be silent. If you can make appointments to go jump fight somebody, make an appointment to sit down with somebody in your family that you think maybe needs a little help, or pep talk or something. Let's do that. Let's go back to the village. Let's go back to at least being concerned about our own. I know it's hard for us to be concerned about a stranger, or whatever, and sometimes it's hard for us to be concerned about our own, but at least let's start there. Make sure the kids and your family are okay. Your niece has to be at work at 6 o'clock. She has to leave her kids home by themselves, and then they have to walk to school. Is it going to hurt you to help her out and take her kids to school and go over, especially if you're not working, and sit with her kids while she tries to make a living to help support them, and so she doesn't have to be concerned worried about her kids, because that has to be a hard thing. I have to take care of my kids, but I'm nervous every day because I have to leave them alone. They have to walk to school. Are they going to get to school safe? I can keep telling them to stay together and do this and so yeah. Let's try and think about other people other than ourselves. Yeah, we're excited because young boy has a concert. He's on concert tour. Maybe it's just me. And I told people, they don't understand what you like. And it's not, I like some of his music. It's not, you have to know his journey. And I didn't know when I was following his journey, he had just started. I didn't know that I felt that he was going to become a big star just because of how he was moving. I don't agree with, they say he puts his hands on women. I surely don't agree with that, but you can pray that out of him. I just knew that there was something in him that was driving him, and it wasn't it was the music, because he can make good music, and it doesn't have to be about in the streets or whatever. I feel it was driving him to make it big so that he could take care of his family and his people. And he even said, I can leave, as long he's rich. He's rich, still making money. He can take care of his family, and that makes him more happy than anything. Because he knew how he grew. It just a young man that was trying to make it, was trying to do something different. He looked and walked the part, but that wasn't really him. And so now we get to see him, because he doesn't have to worry about how he's going to feed, how he's going to pay, how he's going to do this. Just follow him. That man goes, and you can tell it's from his heart. He'll walk down the street and see somebody and just give them stuff. And it doesn't have, and doesn't have to be a camera around. That's coming from his heart. That's not a publicity stunt. That's because he loves people and he cares about people, and that's one thing God said to do. The rest of it, God can change. You can't judge him by what you think, because what you doing over here? What are you doing back here behind the scenes? But anyway, I've talked long enough, and I hope everyone, stays safe. Watch our kids. Watch over our babies. Stop letting our kids watch and do and say and be around all kinds of evilness and take that stuff in and turn themselves evil. Beat the devil by speaking Jesus' name. He hates to hear. He hates to say Jesus and God all day long. He hates those words. So until next week, because I'm gonna come back. Everyone stay safe and stay blessed.